Sounds good.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to our office again, Noel. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I asked him back this morning to do Design Center with us because I'm also new to Remax as of last April. So I'm just learning the whole back end myself. And Design Center is a section I haven't really dabbled into too much. So welcome this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope everybody's is ready to learn here today, because we are going to cover the Remax Design Center, and we are going to go through a few things that everybody needs to know about. We did cover a little bit of this last time I spoke with you guys, but I want to go through a couple pieces of it again to start this piece off in order to make sure that everything with Design Center works properly for everybody. So I hope everybody's ready, got their devices out, ready to go. You can follow along as we go through this. I will be kind of stopping as we go through and just kind of making sure everybody knows where we are on the same pages and stuff like that, because we want to make sure that when we get to the right spot, you're going to have everything set up the way that you need it to be set up. Because we're still seeing a lot of our agents especially in Ontario, we are seeing a lot of our agents who don't have their name on their own listings on remax.ca. And that's a huge problem. So we need to make sure that everybody gets their name on their listings, that when you have a listing, it shows up on remax.ca with your name. And if somebody clicks on request information or something like that, that information, that lead will go to you. Now, this is important. We're talking about Design Center today. So why am I talking about leads? Well, it's actually tied together. So we're going to walk through that together here and just show you this in a couple of minutes. I'm going to be picking on one of you for sure. I was doing a little bit of prep work before the session today to make sure that we had someone we could use as an example. So I apologize to you ahead of time that you're going to be the person front and center, but you'll see in a moment. All right. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple of different things. So I'm sharing my screen here. Before we jump really too heavily into it, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about today, please feel free to reach out to our product support team. Take a picture of this slide, take a picture of, or write these things down, whatever you need to do. Just make these people your resource, because they are there to help you if something goes wrong, something does happen that you're wondering about. Make sure you click on that. You can use this email address. You can use that phone number. Even when we get into Max Center here and we start showing, there is a support services tile where you can go and actually get some help. So that's all the slides I have. We're not going to do this in slides. We're going to do this with the live real thing, because you guys have all watched PowerPoints ad nauseum all the way through this last couple of years. So let's actually take a look at the real tool. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to bring over my Max Center here, and we are going to just get right into it. All right. If you weren't with us last time, we jumped through this. One of the things you should know is that moving forward, every tool that you're going to be accessing with Remax should be through Max Center. In fact, they are now starting to decommission Launchpad. So Launchpad is going to go away. That's going to happen in the next, probably the next few months. You probably already noticed that some of the things in Launchpad are not getting updated. And so you're seeing this starting to shift a little bit. Because they're trying to make sure that everybody knows, go through Max Center. There will be a few things that you can still use Launchpad for in the meantime, but as time moves forward, you're going to see that most of the tools that you're going to access are going to be through here. So this is going to be through remax.net. You're just going to type into your browser remax.net, and when you do that, you should come to this page right here. If you don't remember your password, all of you should have an account with Launchpad. If you don't remember your password, obviously there's always this forgot password link right here. The big thing here is when you put in your password, this is not going to be your remax.net email address right here. This is going to be the everyday email that you normally use. Max Center, your remax.net email address is not an email that you can log in and check. It's just a forwarding service, and it just forwards through to your everyday email. So you just put in your everyday email right here, click on send, and it will send you a forgot password link. Now, once you've got that, then you should be able to reset that password. And then here's where you're going to use your remax.net. In my case, I use .com because I'm staff. Put your remax.net in here and then put in your password and then just log in, and it should take you into your actual Max Center account. Okay, that's a big piece because this is where we're going to be going. And there are a couple of things in here. Now, Max Center has recently changed. Since the last time I spoke to you, Max Center changed a little bit. And so things are looking a little different than they were. Yours might not even look exactly the same as mine right now, because I'm staff and I can see some of the newer stuff that's coming out. And so one of the newest things that's going to be coming for all of you is that they're going to be taking a look at things like, hey, where are you at with your awards and things like that right now? How are you doing in your progress? Because they want you to be able to kind of get a feel for, hey, this is where I'm at in my business, and here's things that you can do to help yourself. All right. And for those of you, just make sure that you're on mute, just so that we can make sure we're not getting into anybody. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself. But if you could just keep yourself on mute, that would be great. All right. So we are taking a look at this, and where I want to go with you guys today is there's one spot I want to point out, but we're not going to spend time there. I just want to point it out to you, because this is going to be more and more important as time goes by. So in the upper right corner of the page, you've got this profile page right here, where it says hello and your name. And if you click on that, there's going to be an option here that says update profile. Now, I don't actually want you to do this today. I just want you to know about this, and I want you to put it on your calendar to do this in the next couple of days or so, just to go through this and review it. If you have not done this recently, click on this update profile, and it'll open up another tab along the top here. And in this other tab that we've got, you'll see a bunch of information, and yours will be a little bit more, you'll have a little bit more options than I have here, again, because I'm staff. I don't actually sell real estate right now. So, but in here, you'll see there's a number of options. Please go through each of these options and fill out this profile as completely as possible. The reason why is because as we start shifting some of the different pieces of our technology, the profile here is actually where we're going to be pulling your information for Remax.ca, for your for when Booge comes. You know, if you've heard about the Booge system, all these different tools that we have are all going to pull your profile information from this one profile. So make sure you go through at some point in the future and fill this out as much as possible in the near future. Now, I don't want you doing this today because we have to focus on Design Center, but this is important for you to do down the road. Okay, I'm going to close this tab. I just wanted you to be aware of this. Make sure you take some time and do that over the little while. And this is where we are. Now, where we're going to go here today is we're going to take a look at the apps and tools. Right on the side here, you should have this link that says apps and tools. And when you come here, you're going to see it's changed a little bit. It's actually a little bit different than what it was before. You're going to see some different options. You might not even see the same options as I have. And if you do see some of the same options I have, like if you see manage contacts and leads, this probably isn't going to do much for you. What we're going to be looking for here today is two things. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Yours aren't going to be in the exact same spot as mine. Mine are going to be right here because I've used this little ribbon icon to favorite them, so they show up near the top of mine. Yours might be down a little further, maybe not even next to each other. But we're going to be taking a look at these two right here. We're going to spend most of our time on this Design Center, but I do have to talk about this Lead Street Homes. This is where you get access to Lead Street. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk about Lead Street here briefly is because it actually ties to Design Center, and there's a part of Design Center that won't work without you having this set up correctly. So we want to make sure that that is set up correctly for everybody. So let's just take a couple of minutes, and we're going to walk through this and show you how this is done. It's not super hard, but it's something that in order to make sure that everything shows and flows the way that you want it to flow, you're going to want to make sure this part is done here. So we're going to click on this Lead Street Homes first. And when you do that, it should actually take you to, it's going to give me an oops, not found, because I'm staff and I don't have an actual account. I'm actually going to bring over, I'm picking on Chris Gunnis today. Gunnis? I don't know how to say it, so I apologize if I got it wrong, but I'm just going to go with Gunnis. And so we're going to pick on Chris a little bit here. Now, the reason I'm going to show you this, I want to pick on Chris is because of this. If I go on to Remax, if I go on to realtor.ca, I've actually got one of Chris's listings open here. So this is on realtor.ca, and I can see that Chris does have listings. Okay, so this is his listing right here. His name is on it. It's ready to go. If I go to the dashboard in Lead Street right here, where it says Lead Street, it actually tells us that Chris has 0 listings, which is not correct. And so we want to make sure that Chris's name and his contact information and everything on Remax.ca. If we were to go onto Remax.ca and find that exact same listing, his name would not be showing on that listing. And so I'm going to see if I can bring it up. Actually, we're going to try this because I want to really kind of get you to give the idea. So we're going to go 46 Hemmingford Place. So I'm going to pull up Remax.ca here.
Sorry.
We're going to pick up 46. I'm echoing.
Here. There's some people in the office that are here and they're also logged in. Sorry about that. No worries. Sorry. That's okay. It was not on mute. That's all.
So we're going to go 46 Hemmingford Place. When I click on that, Now here's the actual listing. Oh, looks like he does have his name on there. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why it's not giving us why it's giving us a incorrect while telling us 0 listings, because it is showing his listing with his name. So now in many cases, I'm going to just go move ahead with this anyway, because I want everybody to be aware of this and how this works. I'm not sure why it's telling us 0 listings. It should be saying that we have listings here if he is set up correctly. Now, the reason why it would say 0 listings here is because in this profile, in Lead Street, when you first come here, there's a spot right here that says connect my listings to me. And you would click on this connect listings. And in here, it's going to take you to this page right here, and you should see your real estate board. Now, it depends on which board you're with. Now, various offices, you might be with Toronto Real Estate Board. This one, you might be with, this one is commonly referred to as ITSO, isn't it? Is it this one? One of these. Anyways, you might have Ottawa, you might have Ontario overall board. There's a number of different boards in your area. So whichever real estate boards you have listed here, there's this spot right here where it says you need to have your agent ID attached to you. This agent ID, what this is this is your MLS ID. This is the MLS number or the code that you use to log into the software at the real estate board. When you're going to upload your listing, you would sign into whatever board software you have. So what, Christine, what is the board software that everybody logs into here? Stratus. Okay. Yeah. So when you're going to sign into Stratus, it's going to ask you for your username and your password. Your username is going to be like some either like a few
7-digit number. It's a 7-digit number.
It's a little 7-digit number, right? So that 7-digit number for your username actually has to go right here where it says agent ID. So if you want to put that in here, you're going to click on this little icon that's gears, and you're going to go edit. And when you do that, it's going to say, what is your ID number? So you're just going to put your 7-digit number right here and then click on save. And what that'll do is it'll make sure that that's listed right here. In this page, you'll see your 7-digit number showing up there. And then within 24 hours, what you should start seeing then is in Lead Street, when you're on that home page there, that main page, you should now see the number of listings that you have. Without that, typically, I'm not sure why Chris's are showing with his name on it in remax.ca, because typically without that MLS ID associated, you won't have your name on it. It'll actually not show your name. And if I, as a consumer, click on send me more information, that lead will not necessarily go to you. And even with Chris's name on here, because it's not showing in here and it's not showing his ID, I have a suspicion that even if Chris's name is here, if I were to click on this request more information or contact an agent here, it might still go to someone other than Chris. We want to make sure that those leads go to you. So the big thing that you need to do is make sure in this dashboard, when you first come here, you're going to click on this connect listings and you're going to add that ID number. Without that, we can't get your leads to you. And that's a huge thing. Now, there is one other thing. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this at the beginning of talking about Design Center is because this piece that I'm talking about right here, connecting your listings, actually connects us to your Design Center account, where we can pull your listings directly into Design Center, and we can feed the information for some of the designs in Design Center from your listings right here in Lead Street. If I go into here and see if there's listings, let's just see if any listings come up for Chris. Yeah, so it actually does show no current listings are connected. So because of that, we won't be able to pull listings into Chris's Design Center account. Now, I'm not actually going to use Chris's Design Center account for this. Actually, you know what? I might use Chris's Design Center account for this, just out of curiosity. We'll just see how this works. And Chris, if you're on here today, I apologize just for randomly picking you, but but at least everybody kind of gets a feel for what's going on here. All right. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to actually close down our Lead Street, because we've got our listing ID number in there now, and we would have it in there. So now we would then go to our actual, let's go back here, close this. We would go back to our Max Center. So it just opens up in a new tab. Whenever you click one of these things, it just opens up in another tab. So we can just close those tabs that we have. And now we're going to look for the Design Center tab here. So when we click on the Design Center, this is going to take us into, I'm actually going to sign into, now you'll see it'll sign into my Design Center. So it's got my name coming up there, but I'm actually going to switch over on my other screen here. I'm going to grab Chris's as well. And bear with me one moment while I do that. And it just takes a moment for me to get this open. Oh, interesting. I'm not seeing him show up in Design Center. Ooh, all right. That is interesting. No. So we may have to actually follow up with our product support about Chris's accounts for some reason. All right, well, that's okay. We can certainly do that. All right, well, we'll just use my account just as the example. That's totally fine today. All right, so what now, looking at this particular thing, when you get into Design Center, there's going to be a couple of things that you're going to look for. So the first thing you're going to do before you start playing around with this and getting in here is making sure that Design Center is going to show the correct information about who you are on each of the different designs that you create. Because in all of our tools so far, we have Lead Street, we have Design Center, we have these different tools that are available. Each one of those tools, until we move over to the newer system with Bouge and things like that, they still have their own profiles that you need to make sure are up to date. And this will only last as long as we have Design Center, as long as we have Lead Street and those kinds of things. But when you click on this one here, which says your name, you'll see there's a couple of options here for each different thing. So if I click on the profile one here, this is going to take us into filling out our profile. Now you can see my incorrect photo there, not me. But now, because my account here isn't live to the outside world, so I use a humorous picture just for the fun of it. But you're going to want to go through here and make sure that you fill out this profile as much as possible. Make sure that there's, you've got your correct information. At the very least, make sure that you have whatever phone number. You need to have at least one phone number, but make sure you have the phone number that you want people to get in touch with you at on this particular spot. So it doesn't matter if it's your office number or your mobile phone number. You can switch them around. You can put in whatever you want here. It's not specifically required that this is your office number or anything like that. Make sure you add your website address. Make sure you add your email address, any of your social media that are available here. We can add all of those. There are a couple of spots here to go through. Make sure you just fill this information out as much as possible. You can actually choose one of the Remax logos. We actually have several Remax logos for you to choose from here. Just give it a second to pop up here. Oh, you should be able to choose a logo. Oh, they must have changed that. You can choose your own postal. If you have a connection with your postal outlet and you have an account where you can get your own postal, like prepaid postal icon, you can have that added here as well. So you should be able to adjust your information here. Oh, is it here? If I click on this, choose from library, there we go. So you have several different logos to choose from the Remax logos. This will not be the Remax Ace logo, okay? This is just going to be the Remax logo that you want showing on each of the different designs, all right? All right, so once you've got these kind of two main things open, especially this profile one here, there are a couple of other options here. And there's one spot here that I want to point out here. It actually asks you for account balance at the bottom. And there's a spot where you can add funds if you want. This is not something you're going to have to deal with at all. You can safely ignore this entire section. This has nothing to do with us in Canada. This is actually for the American group. There is a spot where you can actually, if you would like to be able to use Design Center to be able to send out emails and things like that to people based on some of the designs that are in here, you can actually pay for some of those designs to go from here. And it costs a little bit of money to make sure you send those out. They're just emails. Now, I'll mention this to you. Lead Street itself actually has an email function. So if you want to be able to send out email campaigns, you can do that right from within Lead Street as well. So, and they're free. You don't have to pay for them. So this one here, I would just say, ignore this here. If you see this showing up on a couple of different pages, don't worry about it. Just ignore the account balance thing. Do keep an eye on this one where it says storage used. It'll say 3.4 megabytes. In my case, yours, it'll be something different. Every time you add photos and things like that to Design Center, it's going to use some of the storage for Design Center. So just keep an eye on this every so often. Make sure that you're not using up all the storage you have. All right. That's the big important piece, just making sure you have this profile filled out, make sure it's correct, because now when you have this filled out correctly, no, thank you. When you have this filled out correctly, this is what information is going to show on each design as you create new designs as you move forward. Now, the thing that I want to point out, a couple of things. Now, the big thing that I wanted to point out about Design Center that you have a connection to is that when you have that connection with Lead Street, when you have your photo and your name showing up on all your listings on remax.ca, all of your listings get delivered into into Design Center automatically. And when your listings come in here, you'll actually see a spot here that says listings in the top right corner. And when you click on that, you'll actually see each of your listings connected here. And you'll actually, what this will do is when you have your listings showing up here, you'll see your MLS numbers and the addresses and things like that. If you click on one of those listings, it will actually give you an entire package of designs automatically that are created for your design without you having to do anything. So even if you did nothing else, even if you never log into here and create designs right from the beginning, you'll have an entire package. Those packages will be several different design styles. So you'll have different types of designs. You'll have different things that you can choose from, and you can then, it'll give you like a coming soon package. It'll give you, hey, a listing, the price dropped package. It'll give you, hey, a new listing package. It'll give you a number of different, sorry, did I say coming soon? That's not what I meant. Sorry, it'll say new listing. It'll say, here's an active listing. Here's the listing itself. It'll say price dropped, and then it'll be send you a fourth package of, hey, the listing is closed, so we just assume that it's sold, and you can then send those out. Now, if the listing went off market, and you didn't necessarily sell it, we'll still send you one that says sold, but it's not necessarily you don't have to use that particular package. But you can, this package, it's actually between 6 and 8, depending on the package. 6 and 8 different designs that are automatically created for you that you can use to market that particular listing. And so it is a massively powerful little system because it's going to send you all kinds of things. In fact, I'm actually going to show you one of the designs that it creates right now. And I'm going to give you an example because this is one that was actually created from and I'm actually going to get you to do this as well. So let's do this. I'm going to get you, if you're following along on your own device, I want you to actually open up a browser on your device. So whether it's Chrome or Safari, or it doesn't really matter what, I'd like you to open up a browser, and I'd like you to go to, I'm just going to make sure I get the address right here, just so you can see this. Bear with me 1 second. Where are we here? Oh, make sure I get this. I know it's right here. Bear with me 1 moment. I have it. I just got to find it. Oh, come on. There it is. Okay. So I'd like you to go to this address on your device. So it's going to be rem.ax. And then it's going to be this address right here. So I'm just going to write this down on another page because I want everybody to see this exactly how this is. Here, let's do this. I'm going to put this over here on this page. I want this nice and big for everybody to see. We're going to zoom this right in so everybody can see it nice and big. rem.ax/NOELHORNBY. That's what I want everybody to put into your browser. Okay. And when you do that, it should take you to, let's see if I can get this open. It should take you to this page right here. Okay, now it doesn't matter what page you do this on, doesn't matter what device you do this on, what browser you do it in, it should take everybody to this page right here. And this is actually a listing in Vancouver that a lady actually created for, so she had this listing, Design Center automatically created this single page website for that listing for her without her having to do any work. This was created for her automatically. And so what it did was it took the listing details directly from Lead Street. We pulled all the information from Lead Street and just put it together. So here is the description. We pulled the description right from the listing, put all that in there. Here's all the information about the particular property. Here's all the photos. And this was pulled directly from the listing information that we had on the listing coming from the board directly. So if I go all the way down here, at the very bottom here, you can see it's like information about the property. Here's her listing video. Here's the map, where it is in the map. And then here's how to get in touch with her and her information. And so here's a big old button that says request more information. This is created automatically. She didn't have to do any work to have this set up. It was just part of one of those packages that she received from Design Center automatically. So she took the listing, she put it into the board software. The board then sent it to us. We put it into Design Center and then sent her this package automatically. And so this listing is here right for you automatically. It's created. This is your listing as its own page. So it's a pretty slick little, now she's been kind enough to leave this up for me so I can use it as an example, but it is there for you to be able to use. And a couple things that you can do with this. There are a number of different things that you can do. If you wanted to, you could go to, let's say, you could go to, something like GoDaddy or something like that and register the domain, 1252hornby.ca or .net or .org or whatever you want. You could register a link for this and then point people to this page. Then when the listing sells, all you do is take that domain name and point it to another page on your website that lists properties similar to this one. So there's some really interesting functionality that you can do here, but this is one of those things that I wanted you to see. This is created for you. You don't have to do the work. It does this for you automatically, which is absolutely spectacular. It does such a cool job. All right. So I just want you to see that. So that's just by going to this link right here, just by going to this link. Now I created this extra link just so that I could actually show you how this works, but just wanted you to be able to see that. All right. So that is how to make sure. Now you can do this. I'm on the right page here. Here you go. And that's just done. Like it does this for you automatically. It just sends you an email with all the stuff. But if you want to go in and choose a package for yourself, you can just go into this listing section in here, click on your listing, and there's an option in there where you can just choose a different design style. So if you don't particularly like that particular design that I showed you, if you don't like the style of this page, you want maybe this is a luxury listing. You want to have a more luxury feel to it. Well, you could just go into that particular page where you see your listings and then just choose one of the other styles that comes up, and you can choose the one that looks more like luxury, click on that style, and now you've got a package that looks like luxury rather than being the default one that we send you. So there's a lot of functionality. Now, because unfortunately I don't have listings, I can't show you the specific thing, but you would see your listings right here. You click on that, and then there would be a button on the side that says create marketing package. You click on that and it'll give you all the different packages that you can choose from, and they're all right there. But you can only do this. You can only do this if back in that lead street in here where we went and made sure that your MLS ID was in that button. You can only do that if your MLS ID is right here in lead street homes. So make sure that's all done. Now, other than that, that's all automatic for you. You don't have to do much. If you've got that set up correctly, then you should get those things without having to do anything. That said, there are still a whole lot of other designs that you can go into Design Center and create for yourself. You can do all sorts of things, and you can actually bring in your listing information automatically. You can bring stuff in there. So we're just going to go take a look at where some of that is. So I'm going to go back to this home page right here. This is where we would start. You might get a message up here that says, welcome to Design Center. You can just click on the OK on that, and now you'll be seeing something like this. There's a couple of options here. First of all, you can create a project, or you can go back and edit any one of your existing projects, including the ones that were created automatically for you. So if you didn't like one of those designs, so for instance, if you, on this particular design, maybe you wanted to go in and change some of the pictures around, or maybe you wanted to make sure that it was a Matterport tour was in there or something like that, then what you can do is in this spot, you can just go to edit existing project and then just go find one of your recent projects here, or find them from the list of folders and projects that you've created. So you can go back and actually change any of those automatic ones or any of the previous ones that you've created for yourself. Now we're going to go back in here. We're going to stay on the home page here, and we're going to just choose. It says create a new marketing project. So there's lots of options here of different types of designs you can choose from. Everything from brochures to door hangers to, letterhead to, presentations, social media posts for yourself. There's also the single page property websites. That's exactly what I showed you there with Yolanda's listing that she had. This here, if you click on this will create one of those pages for you based on your listing information. I don't have a listing in here, so I'm going to do this from scratch. We're going to walk through it. I'm actually going to choose, let's say, maybe a flyer, just for the example. Now, it doesn't matter what type of design we choose. They're all going to be exactly the same process of creating them. I'm going to choose a flyer just to give you an example. And you can choose a number of different options. So for instance, we're set to flyer right now. Do I want to figure out like how many let's see here. What do we got? How many sided? Do I want a double-sided or a single-sided flyer? Well, I just want a single-sided flyer for this example. And what size do I want? Do I want A4, which is, you know, your typical? Do I want 8.5 by 11? Do I want an 11 by 17 flyer, like one of those large ones? These are designed for you to be able to bring them into your design, like your printer. You can print them off on your own printer, or you can take them into a professional printing service and have them printed on some nice glossy cardstock or whatever you want. So I'm going to choose, in this case, we're going to choose, well, I'm not going to choose anything. I'm just going to see what's available here. It tells me that I have, you know, 282 different flyers to choose from. Maybe I want to bring this down to maybe, I only want maybe 4 photos. Well, if I do that, now it's going to sort it down to only the 87 flyers that have 4 photos. And you can see, here's the different designs. So here's a luxury design. Here's a couple of different ones that might be nice. So whatever I'm looking for, maybe I want something like this just listed flyer right here. If I click on that, it's now, I can view a sample. Now at this point, I haven't chosen a listing or anything like that. So if I click on view sample, it's going to open up another tab right up here for me. And we'll just give it a moment to catch up to me because the internet can sometimes go a little bit slower. It's going to open up this PDF right here. And this is going to be using just generic imagery just to show what this is going to look like. But you can see, here's the example of what this flyer would look like if I wanted to print this off. Now that's a pretty nice looking flyer for not a whole lot of work. So look what's just listed. Here's some information. Contact me today for more information. Here's the, whatever it is that I want. Here's the agent name. So your name, your photo, your information, your office, all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's a great little flyer. Maybe I want something that does, now in this case, it doesn't give me much information about the actual listing itself. So maybe I want something a little bit more with a bit more information on here. So maybe I'll go with something like this one here, where it does give me a little bit more information. So again, view sample, and you can go through and just take a look at whatever you want, and should pop up here momentarily. So there you go. This one will actually bring in some of my listing information. It just listed. Here's the street address. Here's the information about it, my description, and then my contact information. And if I have a co-listing agent on this, I can actually pull that information in as well. We can put that in there. So I like this listing. I like this flyer. I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to just close this tab, this preview. I'm actually going to close all the other tabs that I have open just to make this as simple as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and click on select this design right here. So now in this case, I'm just going to give this project a name. So we would just say whatever the street address is in this, or what I might do in this is I might say, you know what, the address of the property is actually, I'm going to create a whole bunch of different designs for this particular address for this listing. So I'm going to call this one my just listed flyer, just so that I know when I'm going back and looking at the different designs that I have available to go and change, that I can find this particular listing. And then I'm going to put this in either, if I have a project folder already for my existing listings, I can go find that particular project folder, or I can just create a new folder here and start putting in that folder name. So I can say whatever the address is, you know, something like that. So once I've got the actual address in here, I can say add that folder. So now it's got the folder added. Now, in this case, because we had gone through, and if we had added that MLS ID in Lead Street and made sure that our listings were connected to us, then right here, I could just start typing in the MLS number for that particular address. And it would then come up with, hey, here's the listing, and it will automatically bring in all of the listing details, the photos, the description, the bedrooms, bathrooms, all that stuff. It'll bring it in automatically into the system for me. Now, because I don't actually have a listing in here, I can't actually do that. So I'm just going to leave it empty. I'm going to say, no, thanks. I don't want to use any listing data. And now it says, do I want to include this equal housing opportunity thing? This is an American thing. I don't necessarily need that. So I'm going to turn that off. And then do I want it to automatically crop my photos as I bring them in? Yes, I want it to automatically crop and get them in the kind of the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save and continue. And now I've got this project started. So all we're going to do, every design that we do, that was step one, making sure you had your info correct for that listing. Then we're going to add our photos. Then we're going to add our text. Then we're going to add our contact information, and then we're done. And every design that we create in Design Center, doesn't matter if it's a flyer or a website or whatever, it's all going to follow this exact same process. So I'm going to go ahead and click here on this view one, And all we're going to do now is go and find the photo. So now we're actually connected to Dropbox here. So if you actually want to connect your Dropbox account, you can go and get the photos right from Dropbox. I'm actually going to go to my computer and just go find that file. So I would just click on select files to upload. I would just go find the folder. So I'm just going to go find my folder here. I've got a folder with some pictures here. So now I'm just going to find whichever picture I want to use on here. And so I want a picture of the driveway. I'm going to use, let's see here. Where's my picture of a driveway? There we go. So I'm going to bring that photo in, and now I can see my photo. Now I'm just using some screen grabbed photos from a video that I found online for somebody's walkthrough. So these are going to be kind of lower quality photos. So I apologize for that. But what you want to know is use the nice high resolution photos. If you're doing a print design, you've been sent, if your photographer sent you a nice package with some high resolution photos, even if it creates this listing for you automatically, I would say even come in here and update those photos to the high resolution version. That way, when you print it off, it's going to look really, really crisp and clear. I'm just going to use these photos that I've got from this screenshots from a video. So I'm happy with that as the kind of first photo. I'm going to go ahead and choose the next photos. One of the things I can do here, I can actually do a few of these. So I'm going to choose all my photos here. So we're just going to choose the kitchen. I've got them labeled so that when my computer kind of glitches with this sometimes, I can choose which ones I want. So I want a kitchen, a living room, and let's see, what's maybe the main bedroom. So once I do that, oh, this one didn't want to go, but you'll notice that I was able to select 3 different photos and import it, and it actually brought that in. Well, I clicked on but here in this case, I actually chose the wrong type of file. So this actually is a good little demonstration here. I chose a video file rather than a picture because I'm doing a print design. I can't put in a video here, so it's going to give me this error. So I have to go find a different one. So again, I would just go find the picture that I want. I will choose one that says PNG here. Where's another PNG? What do I got that's PNG? I can use kitchen, main bedroom, PNG. That's the one I wanted. So now I've got this set up so I can see my main bedroom, my living room. So when I go continue here, it should now put all 3 of those in. Now, let's just say that I want maybe the living room to be in where it says view photo 2 here. Now, here's what's really interesting about this. Notice it says view 1, photo 1, view 1, photo 2. If we click on this little view layout right here, you can kind of see it here, but if I click on view layout right here, it'll actually open this up so I can see, okay, here's view 1, photo 1. It's kind of hidden behind this thing, but view 1, photo 2, view 1, photo 3, view 1, photo 4. So it actually tells me where each of these pictures is going to go. So in this case, I know the main picture, like the view 1, photo 1, is going to go in this first spot. But then I want in this case, I want the living room picture here, the kitchen picture here, and the bedroom picture here. So I would just put them in that same order. I can kind of see them here a little bit. So I'll just make sure view 1, photo 1 is the main one here. View 1, photo 2 is going to be here. So I just want the living room one there. I just click and drag it where I want it to go, and it just swaps them around automatically. So once I'm happy with that, I'm happy with the photos, I can go ahead and click on save and continue. And now it takes me to the text part. So what information do I want showing in here? So I've got things like how many bedrooms, how many baths, how many square feet. Here's my headline one. And just so you can see it a little bit better, click on that view layout. And now you can see this a bit better. Here's my view 1, headline 1. Here's the body copy. Here's the beds, baths, and square feet. So I would just start going through here and just start putting in the information that I want it to be. So I said, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but I'm going to say small street. What city? We'll say, there we go. And what was my listing price? So I'm going to say, and we'll just go through and fill this out as much as we want. Now we would go grab our body copy, and I'm not going to put in anything important here. I just want you to kind of see the example. So just some random gibberish here. Now, if I wanted to, remember we said on this one, we could have a second agent if we want. So we could actually put in the second agent name if we're actually co-listing with somebody else. Now, in this case, I'm not co-listing with anybody. So I'm actually going to leave these ones blank. And the nice thing about leaving these blank is if I don't put anything in here, it's not going to show like this spot where there should have been a second agent. It's just going to leave it blank. So it just shows my information on the side and not showing anything else. So I'm just going to leave that second agent one blank. I've added all the listing information that I wanted. Now, if I had pulled the information from my listing already, all of this stuff would have already been filled in for me. I wouldn't have to go through and do this manually. I'm doing it manually just so you can see the process. No, here's a good, also one little thing before I kind of finish this process off here for you. If I wanted to go back, let's say that I've got a couple of designs where, maybe I've done a couple of listings or a couple of designs for this listing already. And I've already used some, like I've already got a body copy or a description that I can put in here. So I can actually, you see this little icon when I point over some of these things, there's this little icon that shows up here. It looks like a little one of those little feather pens or something like that. If I click on that, it's actually going to open up what's called the phrase assistant. So I can actually go back and see, hey, there's a whole bunch of phrases in here. So phrases that I've used in the past. Here's some stock phrases that we've got for you. And there's like a bunch of them and you can edit them. So if I've got one that I've used previously or something that I like to use, I can click on that and then I can change it to whatever I want it to say. If I go back to my own phrases, I can actually look back through all my project folders and then I can see every single type of phrase, or maybe I'll not only the remarks or descriptions, and then I can find the phrase that I've used previously for these designs. So once I'm happy with that, I can click on insert and close. And now I've got myself this thing. Now, obviously, this is one that I used in a previous session just to show an example. And it says Vancouver in this case, because I was doing a training session in Vancouver years. This was actually a couple of years ago already. But it gives you that you can go back and find the previous sections or the previous things that you've actually used. And now you don't have to go and rewrite the whole thing, which is super handy. All right, so once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and click on save and continue here. And it's going to take me to the last page here where it's going to make sure that I've got my information in here correctly. I'm going to just close that because I don't need it. I could put a second agent photo in here. I'm not going to do that because I don't have a second agent. Just want to make sure everything's correct on here. You will see one here that says license. You do not need to fill this out. Okay, this one you can leave blank. This is only for those areas around North America where they actually need to show the license information. You don't have to in most cases. So just leave this blank. But I would recommend having your phone number and your website address because that will show up on this design. So now I'm happy with this information. I'm going to go ahead and click on save and continue here. And it's going to take us right into our final page. Okay, now this is where it gets kind of fun because you can do a couple of different things with this. So first of all, I can go back. First of all, I can just preview this. I can just see what it looks like. Or I can click on edit, which will allow me to go back into it and start changing it again. Go edit a couple things. Maybe I don't want that one to have the master bedroom. Maybe I want it to be a picture of the outside deck or something like that. Well, you can change that up. I could duplicate. This is actually kind of interesting because let's say you're working with a developer and you've got a new condo building in where you've got several units that all have the exact same layout. You just need to adjust a few little details. You create one flyer for one of the units and then you just click duplicate for each additional unit and then just adjust the little things rather than having to recreate that entire design. So there's a couple of different ways you can use this. So, and you can use the duplicate to kind of play with it, kind of try a couple of different ideas, whatever you want to do with it. All right. Once you've got it where you want it to go, then you can say, well, I want to either publish this to the website now or publish to the web. Sorry, publish to web will make this into a kind of a web page that you can view. That's not going to work so well for a print design flyer, but I could email this out to my contacts. Remember, we talked about account balance and adding contacts and stuff like that. That's where that comes into play. Or I can do this where it says download the PDF. This is probably where you're going to go from. I actually recommend that you don't use things like share on Facebook or tweet or pin on Pinterest from here, because what I recommend you do is I actually recommend that you, once you've downloaded the PDF or once you've download an image in this case for your social media, download the image and then manually add that to your Facebook business page, because then you can control the message a lot better. And it doesn't look like it's coming from Design Center or anything like that. It actually looks like it's from you specifically. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on download PDF. And when we do this, it's actually going to give us a couple of options for PDF. So you can go back to having a web image that you can just embed on a website somewhere or put on social media. But you've also got these two different options here for downloading this image. You've got standard PDF or commercial PDF. In this case, a standard PDF, if I click on download, what this is going to do is it's going to open up, it's going to prepare the design, takes a moment for it to work. When I do that, you'll see here, it says just listed flyer right here, gives you a link. And I can click on this little link right here, and it now opens this up in a brand new design. And here is the design that I just created with this design center. And that, I mean, that was me explaining how to do it in like 10 minutes. And it created this whole design. Now, obviously my pictures are a little blurry because I'm using screenshots from a video. You would use the high res imagery and you'd have a really nice, crisp, clear image right here. And it would look really, really good for you. And it has all the information that I want. Notice how it didn't have the second agent name there. It just showed my information. So it's not showing like some box here where it should have had something else, but you can see all the information that you need to have here. All right. So notice this is just the printer. Now this would be if I wanted to print this off on my own printer, but if I close this one here and we'll close this little design, maybe I want to take this to a professional printer where they're going to ask me for things like crop marks and bleed and all those fancy printing names. Well, you don't need to know much about that. All you do is you just ask them, hey, what do I need? And when you click on this download for the commercial PDF, when you click download here, it's actually going to ask you, do you need one up? Do you need crop marks? So I would get to this point in the process myself, and then I would call my printer and say, okay, I'm going to bring you a thing to print off on an 8.5 by 11. I need high gloss, card stock, but do you need one up? Do you need crop marks? And what do you need the bleed set to? That's what I would ask them. And they'll just tell you right on it, no, we don't need this one up thing. We do need crop marks and we need the 1/4 inch bleed. And when you do that, now you click on download the PDF and we'll just give it a moment to catch up. And you now have this link that you can download. If I click on that, it opens up that link right there. I've got this and you can see now it has the crop marks. So when this goes to print, they'll actually print it properly and trim it for you. And so it'll be nice right to the edge of the page. It'll look super high quality on that design. And now you've got a great thing for your printers to print off, and you can have as many of them printed off as you want and take them and distribute them as you need to. Now with this PDF, of course, it does have those instructions right on this page here. When you're on this page, you open it up, there is a little download. It'll tell you exactly how to get this saved to your computer. So in this case, it's telling me, hey, there's this little download icon. If I go up here, you can see there's my little download icon. If I click on that, it now saves it. Where do I want to save it? I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Click on save. And now I've got that particular design showing. I've got it on my computer. It's on my desktop. And if I open it from my desktop, there's the actual design itself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to use the Remax Design Center. So you can go through here, you can create all different types of designs. Take a look, go in there for yourself. You can actually click on designs or even go through the home side, either place. And when you go through designs, you're going to see, hey, there's lots and lots of different designs to choose from. You should have kind of around 1,200 of them to choose from. So go wild, have fun, play with it. We've had a couple of people using this for other types of things. So for example, there's one in here, where's the video tours or the virtual tours, these ones here. We've actually had people, what they do is they'll actually go in and let's say they have a kid that's in a certain sports game or something, or a tournament or something like that. They'll actually take a whole bunch of pictures of the sports tournament and then go in here, take those photos into the video or the virtual tour one and actually create that with the video tour, and they'll then send the link for the video to all the other parents from the tournament. And it's just showing, hey, here's what happened at the tournament. But at the very end, it has this nice picture. Hey, also, I'm a real estate agent and I can help you out. And so the parents can see this great little video about all the stuff at the tournament, but now they've got your contact information at the end of it. And they're going to show that to all their family and friends. Hey, here's some highlights from the tournament and blah, blah. So there's ways to think of using these outside the box. You don't necessarily have to use all these just for listings. Use them for personal promotion. Use them for whatever you feel is going to help you build your business. So I hope that gives you a good idea of how to use Design Center. Unfortunately, I have to call it quits now because I have to take my to school. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today and walking through this.
Thank you so much for coming out again. Thank you.
And I'm just going to throw this back up on the screen here as just so everybody remembers, if you need any help with this, please feel free to reach out to these guys here. Call the 1-800 or the 888 number, email our product support, or if you actually log right into Remax Max Center, there is that option in Max Center wherever I was here. Now that I've got it open in Max Center, you can look for the support services tile. If I can see it wherever it is here, it's right in here somewhere. Support services right here. And when you click on there, there's a spot in there where you can actually live chat with somebody. So thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good one, everybody. I got to jump.
Have a good week.